All right, Boss and the Brewer, episode number 62. Hendo's about to come online. We've got a fair bit to go through this week. And I've got new earphones, which should be good. I'll be able to hear myself and hear Hendo at the same time. I'm actually late, and I assumed Hendo would be here because I'm 2 minutes late, but looks like he's not. Well, there he is. I'll let him in. All right.
Let's
Hey!
go. Oh, shit. Sorry. Hang on. I've got music going. Oh,
Wait, so how come I can hear you? I've got to put
yeah.
these earphones in. Hang on.
Yeah. Can I record, please?
Sure. Uh,
It's
oh,
very
it's not that
interesting
one, is it?
first
It's the
couple of minutes of the old podcast.
um. You're coming out of my computer, but I want you to come out of here. So let
You
me see
click
if
the
I can.
little microphone thing down the bottom,
Oh, here we go. Here we
and
go. Here we go. Got it.
and then I should come through your headphones.
Oh, that sounds like absolute shit. These are very cheap.
I was listening to some music. I needed a bit of a cheer up.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I was listening to?
The
You couldn't hear it,
Strokes.
could you? No,
No,
no. Although the Strokes are pretty good.
they're the best.
Um, Regurgitator.
Oh, I could hear it. Well, wait, that song was just in my head.
Yeah, that's because I sung it to you when we first got on the call because I
Oh,
was
okay.
singing along.
It was okay. It's been like repeating in my head. Okay,
It's
that
like,
makes sense. That's so random. Was it Polyester Girl?
No. It was
No.
the song formerly called
Oh,
exclamation mark.
yeah. Okay. That's so funny. I was listening to the hottest 100 of 2001 last night, and
Mhm.
a song came on that sounded like the start of Polyester Girl,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was just some other song that sounds basically the same.
Have
So
you seen the
Regurgitate's been
Gurge?
in my head.
Have you seen them live?
No.
Oh, they're fucking sick. They're so good live. I think I've seen it about 3 or 4 times live. They were at the Stones Festival a few years ago,
Oh, that's
and
fun.
they just crushed it. It was free. And
Wow.
then they played when the Commonwealth Games were on down the Gold Coast. You know, they shut off the roads in around Broadbeach there, and they had the stage set up there. I watched them there, free.
What's wrong with these people? Why aren't they charging?
I don't know. They're great guys, though.
Good on you, Gurge.
Free concerts. It was amazing.
Have you got a beer?
I do. I've got a couple of Hollandias.
This sounds so bad. I was hoping this would be better, but
warm
it just
glass, man.
you sound like you're talking into a tin. These earphones are so shit. I think I might have to ditch them.
You can ditch them. This is not going to pour well. It's very warm,
Oh, now
isn't
I
it?
can't hear anything. Hang on. I think I'm going to ditch them. These earphones suck.
Fair enough. Look at that. Look at that perfect pour.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go. Have a look at that.
Quite quiet though. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Wait,
Look
you
at
got
the perfect pour. Oh, I can't do that. It's bloody Matty Wilson will crush me.
That's horrific.
I'm going to get a phone call from him tomorrow. He's going to go, what the fuck are you doing, Hendo?
Now your volume is this is super annoying. You're very
Turn your
quiet.
volume up. Turn your volume up. Is it me? Is my gain not working?
Wait. Talk.
Well,
That's better.
what do you want me to say? There you
That's
go.
better. Okay.
All
We're
right.
good. Well, I
There
bought
you
these because we used to do the podcast. I'd plug the speakers into there so I could hear you and I could hear me as well. I plugged the
Yes.
earphones.
Yes.
But I like my Apple ones, and so I just bought these ones. They're just dog shit.
You know what you need? You need like a boom for the microphone because when you lifted that up, you sounded so much more professional.
Yeah, that's true. I could get that. Yeah, that would
like
be
a
better.
real podcaster.
So you think I need a boom for the microphone?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I think I just got a half chub there, mate. That was pretty
wow.
good.
If you get us a sponsor, I'll get us a boom. Okay.
Oh, shit.
How's your
What beer
beer?
have you got?
I got the Helios Classic Series German Pilsner.
That I had last week.
Same one.
Damn, Matt, that's such a good fucking beer.
What I've just totally missed what beer you had. The Moff's Summer Ale?
Passenger Pale Ale.
Oh, Pale Ale, yeah.
So fucking good.
Nice.
Fucking amazing. I got this in bloody packaged 29th of September.
Wow.
My God.
Where did you find this beer?
I got it given to me when I went up there like in November. So it's been sitting in my fridge and it's tasting fresh as daisy.
Amazing.
I don't know what you're doing, Matt, but fuck, keep doing
it. They put a lot of hops in their beers, a lot of delicious fucking.
Yeah, but if they always age, and if you put lots of them in and they age, it tastes even worse.
Even worse, yeah.
That tastes like it's just fresh as the day it was canned. Well done. I'll take a few notes out of his bloody book, eh?
Get him on, fucking pick his brain.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's been happening? You got any updates on the scooter?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, fucking scooter update. Okay, I'm going to hit this end of February fucking deadline, by the way. So, because my crank bearings arrived today and oil seals. So I went out to the motorbike shop to go pick them up. While I was there, I'm like, okay, well, it's two-stroke. I need some two-stroke oil, right? So I said to the bloke behind the counter, I just need some two-stroke oil. Do you know how two-stroke engines work?
Well, vaguely.
Like the oil and the petrol are mixed together,
right?
And then they go through the carburetor, and the petrol lubricates the engine, and some of the oil is burned, and that's why they make white smoke and all that sort of stuff.
It seems like a fucking terrible idea, but I understand this.
Look, they're very efficient engines, very powerful, very lightweight engines. They've got a lot going for them, but they just burn oil, right? And that's just no go in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I go in there, I need some two-stroke oil, and he goes like, and he's pointing at the four-stroke oil. He goes, you need that one if you're changing doing the crank bearings. I'm like, he's pointing to the four-stroke oil. I'm like, but it's a two-stroke. And he goes, yeah, you need that. You know, for the crank, for the oil in the crank. Now, normally in a four-stroke engine, yes, you would need the crank going through a pool of oil and all that sort of stuff. But this guy he was adamant. He goes, I said, what about this two-stroke oil? He goes, yeah, you need that too. And I'm like,
where do you put them?
Well, that's. He said you put the two-stroke oil in the reservoir so it gets pumped in the engine, and then you put the four-stroke oil into the crankcase.
This is going to end up together.
Well, exactly, because the carburetor for a two-stroke engine is actually in the crankcase, and basically the piston sucks through a reed valve, like a one-way valve, the fuel air mixture into the crankcase, right? So there's oil and fuel mixture, and that's how it gets lubricated down there. And then when the piston goes down, the reed valves close, and the pressure of the piston coming down forces the fuel air mixture up these ports and into the cylinder for the next charge for the next stroke.
Well, speaking of chubs, I just got a chub listening to you talking about how you get lubricated down there
and stroking
and pistons and all the rest of that.
And pistons, yeah, of course. And so and he's like, this guy's fucking adamant. I said, I'll just take the two-stroke oil, thanks.
Was he a young fella?
No, older than me.
Interesting.
And didn't know how to two-stroke engine worked.
Well, if you're just putting in is it very different? The actual oil wouldn't be that much different, would it?
It's got esters in it. It's meant to burn.
Right.
It is different oil.
Yeah. But maybe he was thinking you put the four-stroke oil in there just for the purpose of kind of lubing it up at the start, and then you crank it up with the. Yeah. No.
God, no fucking idea.
Well, okay. So it's the 1st of February now.
Yep.
What more progress did you make? Is that you just
So the engine's out of the scooter. The crankcase is apart. I've taken the head and the cylinder off, and the pistons out and all that sort of stuff. Crankcase is apart. I had to buy I spent the most money at the moment on tools. I bought a tool. I spent $40 on a tool that removes crank bearings from crank shafts. $40 and then 30 seconds, and I'd used it, and that was it. That's all I fucking need it for.
Put it up on Marketplace. You probably sell it for $40.
Yeah, probably. And then I bought another tool that separates crankcases, and that was a 5 or 10 minute job anyway. That's done as well now. And I'm just gonna have to rebuild another fucking engine after this, I swear. And and so the engine is split in half. Bearings arrived today, and so I'll pop them in this week. Get the engine back together. Oh no, it won't be this weekend because I'm home brewing on Saturday. But get the engine together and should get it back together.
All right.
I think I can make the end of February deadline.
Well, speaking of bets that we have that you're going to make, I might just update a little document here because we had hottest 100.
Yep.
Hendo picked Larry.
Yep, for number one, yes.
Yep. Which didn't get number one.
No, it did not. What was my second choice?
I picked Better Beer for number one.
Did
didn't get number one.
Number one? No. All right. So that's our first choice is out. What was my second choice?
Your second choice was Crankshaft.
Yep.
And that
I was holding my lucky crankshaft from my scooter. Did you see that photo?
I saw the photo, but it wasn't lucky, was it?
It was not lucky at all.
No. And my second vote was XPA, Bolter XPA.
Yeah, which came second.
Yeah.
So who came first?
Well, Larry beat Better Beer, didn't it?
Yes, but XPA beat Crankshaft.
XPA beat Crankshaft.
We just both got fucked in this, didn't we?
Well, I mean, I feel like you were way off with Larry. And you were I think I won this because you're way off with Larry. You were way off with Crankshaft, considering they've won 2 years in a row and they came third, which is pretty far off. I was definitely off with Better Beer, but I was pretty much on the money with Bolter XPA.
Well, okay. So if we had to put money down at the TAB, we'd both have lost money. So no, I'm not.
That's true, but the point of having the second vote was if the first vote wasn't number one, we would.
But that didn't get number one either. Didn't get number one either.
But we didn't have a third vote, so it has to go on the highest.
No, that's right. Yeah, but the thing is, would you have picked the number one, which was the Mountain Culture?
No way. I would
Mountain Culture. What's it called again? Status Quo
or something.
Yeah,
I would never pick
Mountain Culture Status Quo.
No, I was actually. I feel like I don't know a lot about Mountain Culture. I've never drunk the beer.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of ads for it. I see a lot of marketing for it and a lot of paid ads. And so I think they've, I mean, are they a big brewery? They're not particularly big, are they?
Yeah, they're pretty reasonably sized up in the Blue Mountains there, west of Sydney. And
right.
Yeah.
But they'd be smaller than every other.
McCready, very, very talented brewer.
They'd be smaller than every other brewery in that top 10, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or maybe your mates. Would they be about your mate's size? Or
no, not even. I don't think. Yeah, yeah. Doing a decent amount of product, but I don't know how much exactly. But doing a decent amount of product and that debuted at number one.
That's insane.
It's never happened before. I don't think.
That's just great. Did you expect that?
Oh, what about Pirate Life Pale Ale? That might have debuted at number one.
I don't think that Pirate Life ever won it, did they?
Maybe. It's interesting, though.
I don't know if I can look up the history right now. Pirate Life always used to go well. I don't know if they actually won it, though. How do we find this bloody website? So did that surprise you, the Mountain Culture victory?
Bloody oath. Absolutely.
When did Pirate Life sell? It was about 2017, was it?
Something like that.
Pirate Life Double IPA is number 3 in 2015.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's probably their highest. 2016. Number 2 in 2016. 2017. Yeah, they dropped out. Remember they sold and they just like massively dropped out of the list. So down.
The next year they got really pummeled by it.
Yeah, so I don't think they ever won it.
It was a very good result. I actually really enjoyed it. This year's hottest 100. I don't want to fucking dwell too much on it because everyone else is going to gasbag about it. But I was very surprised that Larry got got number 5. They were on a little bit of an uptrend. That's why I sort of predicted that they might get the number 1 slot. I was quite surprised to see what's some of the other surprises. There's some beers that dropped quite significantly from the year prior and that sort of thing. And I think that's showing a change in tastes and that sort of thing. There's some stayers like Young Henry's, Newtown, always there. Just a stayer. Peachy Pale. Don't forget we voted for that.
Yep.
So
Pacific House still in there. XPA still in there.
Yep. It's good.
Goat scraped into the top 10. Not bad.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, not bad.
Well done. So you were thinking that East Coast Haze was going to bring it?
I thought,
and you were like, yeah,
you were like saying,
oh, I want to put all the votes behind East Coast Haze, and I'm like, man, vote Goat.
Well, yeah, we kind of split it. Yeah, I thought East Coast would go better because East Coast debuted last year at number 19.
Yeah,
which was, other than Goat, the highest entry we've ever had, and So yeah, we thought that would go better, definitely.
Yeah. Where was Goat last year?
5. Yeah,
still good.
Yeah, but I think if like last year we kind of pushed the vote Goat thing. Probably in hindsight, you were right. Would have been a better idea to do that.
Vote VOAT GOAT, mate.
2024. If people still care about it, then we'll do that.
People still care. Vote.
I think it was good. It was a good result from the point of view of. I think my prediction was Better Beer would win, and then everyone would just stop caring about the whole thing.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I was wrong about that because.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because people still reasonably into it. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of noise about it really, but reasonably into it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on that? That's all?
Nah. Yeah, let everyone else talk about it.
Fair enough. All right. Better Beer drives Mighty Craft to profit.
Whoop-de-doo.
It's a fucking big deal. I've seen this on so many websites. It was on like Channel 9 News and shit. It was like $50 million turnover for Better Beer in one year.
Is that right?
This is just insane. And Mighty Craft being profitable is a pretty amazing result too.
And being cash flow positive as well, by the looks of it. That's very hard to do.
Very hard.
With such rapid. Oh, is Better Beer cash flow? Mighty Craft's cash flow positive. So there you go.
Yeah, but they only own a percentage of Better Beer. But I mean, that's all they talk about these days. It's obviously their biggest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's the most important thing.
Absolutely, it's the favorite child.
Why wouldn't it be?
Are you supposed to have? Do you have a favorite child?
Sales.
Do you have a favorite child?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, it changes.
See, I don't have children, so I'm not in that position.
Right.
Where I have to say, oh, you're all my favorites.
Well, you don't have to. That's not what I said, is it?
Just pick a favorite child and stick with it.
Better child.
Better child. Yeah, look, what have they got here? Let's have a look at the numbers. What have we got? Unaudited revenue, group revenue up of $31.2 million in second quarter results, up 91% in the prior corresponding period. Cash receipts of $33.1 million, up 87% cash receipts. That's really interesting.
Crazy.
3.2 million litres of Better Beer sales, up an incredible 687% on the PCP. I normally think PCP is a drug, but here we are. And Better Beer has now achieved in excess of $50 million in retail sales value in the last 12 months. Impressive.
Oh, retail sales value. Okay, I misread that. That's obviously just a bit of a... They're just playing with the numbers there.
Well, so it sounds better, doesn't it?
That's not revenue, is it? That's just the final amount.
That's retail sales.
Oh, okay. So that's not... I mean, it's still awesome. It's still obviously very impressive, but that's just kind of making up numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here we go. Mark Hazeman says Q2 FY23 was a record quarter for the business from both a sales and operating cash perspective. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I mean, it's up 90%, so it's obviously a record.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable.
Incredible. Can you imagine where would this business be at? Because the whole time they were doing their thing, I was like, this makes no sense. It's not going to work. And now they've got better beer. It seems to be working. Where would they be without this product? It's just crazy.
I know. It's unbelievable. And the two guys behind it, who started, what are they called again? I forget.
Inspired Unemployed.
Inspired Unemployed. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You're really setting me up here, Hendo. Okay. All right. Go on. Do you want me to get on to the next one already?
Yeah, but don't read it out.
Do you want me to read out the
No, don't read it out.
Okay.
No. All right. So let's talk about the reality of Mighty Craft. Now, I'm going to stress here that everything I'm going to say in this segment is my personal opinion. And I need to say that because I'm going to say some stuff that stings a few people, right? But I think it needs to be said. So
this is not employment advice?
It's not employment advice, right? So last week we had the ballistic going into voluntary administration thing. It was last Tuesday or last Wednesday or something like that. And we sort of covered it briefly last week and that sort of thing. And I've had a bit of time to think about the circumstances around that. And I can speak to a lot of what's going on at the moment without knowing the specifics of what's going on in that business, because I have been involved in a brewing business that's gone into liquidation, right? I'm probably one of the few people in the Australian craft brewing industry who's still involved in the Australian craft brewing industry who can speak from experience in that regard. And there's a couple of things that are really bugging me about this situation that's happening with Ballistic and that sort of thing that I think needs to be highlighted, and certain people need to be held to account with regards to this, right? So you take a look at the backstory of Ballistic. They sold 10% of their business to Mighty Craft. When the fuck was that? I forget.
Like back when they were founders first,
2017, 2018, 2019, something like that. And so when you go into the Mighty Craft portfolio, what goes with that is your distribution and sales and distribution rights all go into the Mighty Craft sales force and distribution wing, right?
They must have made the choice to do that. They would not have had to do that. With a 10% stake, they would not have had to do that.
But they chose to do it.
They chose to do that.
Right. Okay. And so they had,
it could have been they could have said, we won't invest unless you.
Yeah. Or there could have been a bit of a sweetener to the deal,
right,
in return for that. Yeah. Either way, but that was the choice that was made and that sort of thing. And so when, that's a really deep relationship that you've got with another organization as a brewery, when there's another outside entity who owns 100% of the distribution rights. All your eggs are literally in the one basket. You can't. They had a national sales manager, which they made redundant.
Yes,
when that went through, because indeed the position was made redundant because Mighty Craft, or Founders First as was at the time, were going to be taking care of that sort of thing. Right now, fast forward to sort of 2022. It was pretty clear, and I can cite plenty of articles from Brews News and The Shout and all that sort of thing, where Mighty Craft have very publicly said that we are focusing on our core brands, and their core brands being Better Beer, being one of them, right? And that's public. That's public information, right? And that's just fact, right? And that has been said many times. Well, that sort of tells me that would start to be some tension between Ballistic and Mighty Craft, because all of a sudden their product isn't being sold by the only entity that was in the position, or who was contractually had the rights to the sales and distribution.
Yeah.
So I suspect that there was probably some tension there, and probably some overt disagreement as to what the future of the beer sales of Ballistic was going to be. And so at some point, the consortium that owns the 90% of Ballistic, David Kitchen and the other shareholders and all that sort of stuff, right, must have seen that they were getting a raw deal, because their distributor was failing to push their product, right? And that would be very concerning, because here you are holding the can for 90% of the business, right? And so I can imagine that the tensions must have been very high with regards to that, okay? Especially when the company that has the rights to the distribution is openly saying we're pushing these core preferred brands and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so that is probably one of the things, in my opinion, that has probably led to Ballistic not being in a particularly good financial position. Right.
Can I just stop you for a second? That when you say the rights to the distribution, I agree with everything you've said so far, but I don't know if it's a situation of rights to the distribution. I think at some point Ballistic decided that they would put all their eggs in this basket in terms of sales and distro, and that would be part of that machine. I assume at any point they could exit out of that machine, but obviously would require a lot of work for them to do that.
I don't know, and you don't know that.
I mean, they would be bound by whatever contract they signed, but they chose to sign the contract.
Correct. There would be some sort of contract in place which neither you or I are privy to.
No.
Right. And so therefore, because had it been that easy for them to just get out of the Mighty Craft distribution channel, then they would have gone and started selling their own product.
Well, anyway, no, but I think they were.
They were, but not until the second half of last year, right, where they started to go down that path.
But so that was when this was happening. I think it was last year. It was last year they started doing that.
Yeah. So can you imagine the disruption to a brewing business of having your own sales force and then handing that over to a third party entity, and then that not working out, and then bringing it all back in house again?
It's fucking terrifying.
And the stress that would put on a business.
That was their choice to do that, right?
Of course, but I'm just saying the facts, that's what's happened, and they were trying to, bring all of the sales back in house and that sort of thing, and that costs you sales and momentum and all that sort of stuff, right?
Definitely.
Right, that would be extremely stressful on a business, and they would have lost a lot of potential revenue. In that regard, just to make that change back, even if the relationship is all happy and rosy and smiles and that sort of thing, it still would have been very painful to bring all of the sales and distribution back in house.
100%. That's why I don't think it's a good idea to hand over your sale. Like, sales is everything in this business. Don't hand that over to someone else.
So coupled with that, right, you've got the recall that happened last year. There's probably maybe a dozen different SKUs and best before dates that were involved in that. They're all announced on the same day. I have a point of view on that. I don't think it was a very well executed product recall. Because you don't just wake up on a Tuesday morning and go, oh, we've got all these potential batches of beer with cans exploding and all that sort of stuff without knowing that at least some of them were problematic prior. But anyway,
did you see anything about that prior? Like, if they were exploding all over the joint, we would have seen it, wouldn't we? People would have put in.
Of course. But surely that would have been raised within the business that there was a batch of beer that was problematic, right? And if it's problematic and if it's a risk to public health and safety, a brewing company has a duty of care to recall the product.
Yeah, which they did
as a public. Do you really think that all 12 of those batches all came to light on the same day?
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. No, they didn't. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that recall probably could have been managed a little bit better. And that's pretty much all I'm prepared to say about that. And suffice to say that if it's not a lesson in making sure that the quality of your beer is tip top, then you shouldn't be in this business, right?
Yeah.
Now, that recall would have been very, very expensive, right?
Oh yeah.
And so you did the recall a couple of years ago, and that was really expensive, and that was 20 heck of beer, right?
Mm.
And this one, God knows how much that would have cost, right? Like easily hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right? I don't know the number, but it doesn't take a genius to sort of to look at the batch size, the brewery, the number of affected batches, the breadth of the distribution, and all that sort of stuff. I realize that would have been a lot of money.
Right.
And when you take a hit like that, it can really knock the wind out of a business.
100%. Most businesses in this industry just don't have that kind of money lying around. Like you're just operating on the smell of an oily rag the entire time.
Yeah. And I don't know if they had recall insurance or not, and I would highly recommend any business to have recall insurance. But in this situation, who knows if they had recall insurance or not? Regardless, it's still going to be expensive proposition.
And insurance is also extremely expensive. I don't know if people understand how much insurance is for all the kinds of things you need insurance for. It's easy to say you need insurance for something, but it's insane how much money you have to spend on insurance.
And so here we are in a situation where Ballistics copped a double financial hit, right? Both in terms of shifting distribution and a major product recall and all that sort of stuff, right? So they've had the real gut punch, right? Mm-hmm. The old 1-2 gut punch even, right? And they're slumped over and all that sort of stuff. Now,
plus all the other challenges that every other brewery is facing at the moment.
Correct. Increase in excise, increase in cost of raw materials, all those sorts of things, right? And it just fucking piles on top.
A lot of staff challenges as well.
Staff challenges, getting staff. It's hard to get fucking staff, brewing staff especially, and all that sort of thing, right? It's really, really challenging. And so on top of that, right, there would have been a point where this you don't just wake up one morning and go, we're going into voluntary administration. You see the writing on the wall coming months and months in advance. That's what happened with my business. I knew that when the moment that we put 50 heck of a perfectly good batch of beer down the drain, that all the money that went with it and the lack of revenue coming from that, I knew in that moment that was game over and we're never going to recover from that. But it took another 7 months,
right, until
liquidation finally came around.
Yeah,
because in that time, there's a lot of wheeling and dealing, and it's like, okay, how can we recapitalize the business? Do we get another partner in who can help recapitalize business? How's it going to work and all that sort of stuff? And there's a lot of fucking conflict happening at that time, right? And I would imagine that a lot of conflict would have been happening between Ballistic and Mighty Craft at that time. Maybe it was going to be a separation. Maybe there would have been discussions about them helping to recapitalize business. Don't know. But I can tell you there would have been a lot of conflict.
In one of the articles, it did talk about another party coming in to take over their share at some point.
Okay, great. Right. So here's the thing, right? And so at the moment, right, so Ballistic's gone into voluntary administration last week, right? And I don't know how many workers, but I'll come back to that in a second. But there are workers at Ballistic who have been stood down without pay. Right? They got called into work last Wednesday and they were told, sorry, guys, we're in voluntary administration. You're being stood down without pay whilst we sort shit out. Right? Now, what if you're one of those workers? How would you feel?
Yeah, right? It's not just that either. It's also as I understand it, if you're kind of stood down at that point, or if you're leaving at that point, you become one of the creditors. Like if the company owes you money, you're in the creditor pool.
And that's exactly what happens, right? And I'll come back to that in a minute as well, right? And so imagine being like, and I know of about maybe 5, 6 or 7 brewers, right? Because that's what I am. I'm a brewer. I'm shit at running a business, right? And track record and everything. And
Don't
so
beat yourself
those,
up too much. Most people who run good businesses previously ran bad ones. It's
yeah, true.
the only way to learn sometimes.
And so, there's 5, just 6 or 7 brewers now that got stood down without pay, right? And the thing is, they're real people with real families, real mouths to feed, real mortgages to pay, right? And these people need help, and they need support, and they need a job. And so that's why I jumped onto the Pro Brewers Queensland Facebook group last week and posted that video saying, "Hey guys, we've got some comrades in the brewing industry and that sort of thing who, they find themselves out of work and they really could use a start. Can you give them a start?" And a few people reached out and all that sort of stuff, and I've connected a few people up and all that sort of thing.
Okay, good on you for doing that. That was good. I like that.
But doing a post on social media is fucking nothing, compared to what these people are going through. But someone had to get up there and just say it, right? Because when people are in financial, distress, they're too proud to ask for help.
Well, they probably didn't see it coming either.
Exactly. But now they find themselves in this situation where they don't have a paycheck. It's really hard to ask for help. And I know that because that's exactly the situation that I was in. Remember when I first moved to the Gold Coast, and man, I wasn't mentally doing that well. I just didn't want to ask for help because I was just too proud, And that's the situation that these workers find themselves in at the moment, right? And they need support. Now the thing is that, right? So apparently they're still employees of Ballistic, but they've been stood down without pay and have subsequently become creditors of the business. And this is the thing that bugs me, right? Is Mighty Craft's involvement in this, right? So if we have a look at Mighty Craft's involvement in Ballistic's business, right, there's only a couple of ways that this could play out, right? So either Mighty Craft exits the Ballistic business, sell, lose their shares, some way Mighty Craft walks away from Ballistic, right? And the other way that it can play out is that Mighty Craft are involved with the administration, helping to recapitalize the business, right the ship, get it back on its feet so they can start and continue to operate the business again.
Or they just stay on as a minor shareholder.
Third option is they just sit back and wait and see what's going to happen.
Right.
That's the 3 ways that it can play out.
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at those 3. And if you look at the majority shareholder consortium, the 90% shareholder consortium, right? You might think, well, they're the people who should be supporting the workers, right? But the thing is that they can't, because they're not in a financial position to be able to do it, because there's no fucking cash in the business, right? And that's why it's gone into administration. So that 90% consortium, in my opinion, is bent over a barrel at the behest of the 10% shareholder, who might be wanting a better deal out of this and that sort of thing, better deal out of their exit of the Ballistic business or whatever it is they're going to do, right? They're trying to get a better deal. They're a listed company. That's completely understandable, okay? So option number 1, right? Mighty Craft walks away from Ballistic. They fuck over the workers, right? Because they have the thing is that they turn their back on the business. They walk away. Those workers are still fucked, and they are still without pay, and they're still without work, and they want to work. Right. Option number 2 is that Mighty Craft is involved with the administration, looking to recapitalize the Ballistic business, get it out of voluntary administration, and get Ballistic back on its feet. Let's say that that's the way that it's going to play out. Well, Mighty Craft is still fucking over the workers, right? Because there is absolutely nothing stopping Mark Hazewood, right? Hazeman, sorry. There's nothing stopping Mark Hazeman from picking up the phone to the administrator tomorrow and say, "Hey, Mr. Administrator, we'll make an undertaking to cover the wages of the workers that have been stood down without pay during the administration period because we know that we're going to get the business righted again, and we know that the production's going to need to continue, and we're going to need brewers, and brewers are really difficult to recruit at the moment, right? So in that regard, Mighty Craft, in my opinion, are fucking over the workers, right? And the third option, right, is let's say that they're sitting back and waiting to see what happens with the restructure and all that sort of thing. Well, again, in my opinion, Mighty Craft are still fucking over the workers because they're sitting back and letting it and watching it happen and all play out, whilst workers have no work and no pay.
Yeah.
All right. And the thing that really, really gets my goat about this is that they're on fucking Brews News today, right? And they're singing their praises and doing press releases and media calls and all that sort of stuff going, revenue's up, we're cash flow positive, better beer sales are absolutely flying at the moment, singing their bloody praises while workers are out of work and have no pay. And their cash cow fucking brand that they sing about the most, right, Better Beer, is majority owned by two guys. Oh, sorry, there's three guys, but the two faces of the brand call themselves the Inspired Unemployed. Now, the irony in that is just mind-blowing, right? In that you have the Inspired Unemployed, which is the shining beacon of the Mighty Craft portfolio, yet there are workers working in the brewery in Salisbury and Ballistic who've been stood down without pay. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit.
You're going to want to edit this afterwards?
Maybe. I'm going to need to listen to it first. Right? And so here's the next thing, right, that really bugs me. So I've got a real problem with Mark Haseman and Mighty Craft because they have the resources to be able to fix this problem with these workers today.
Right, but they right? have to they have to operate a business and do the right things by their own investors legally.
But when you've got the Inspired Unemployed and actual unemployed, it doesn't look good, Dan.
I get it.
It doesn't look good at all.
I get it.
All right. I get they're running a business. I understand that.
No,
and they're a listed company.
I think it's if they own a big chunk of Ballistic, that would be different. They're a 10% shareholder. I don't really know how all that works, but
they have the financial means, mate. That's the issue. They're literally bragging today, whilst workers are fucking suffering with no pay and no work. I'm sorry, that is not acceptable.
But what do you think they should do about it? Like
they should pick up the phone to the administrator. Mark Haseman should pick up the phone to the administrator and say, "Hey, Mr. Administrator, I'll make an undertaking to cover the wages of the affected workers during the period of administration, so that please don't fire them because we're going to need them when we write the ship or we exit the business."
All right.
Right. Okay. And here's the thing, right?
So you're assuming in that scenario they are working towards.
So here's the go, right? So let me pull up a quote from Mark Haseman, right? Where is he? Okie dokie. What does he say here? Here we go. Quote Mark Haseman, right? They've put it into voluntary administration, so we'll do our best to support where we can there, but they'll do that work and hopefully bring the business back to market sort of mid-March. Well, mate, if you want to do your best to support the business where you can, pay the fucking workers.
All right.
That's my opinion, and that's what I think about that.
That's fair.
Yeah, fucking oath it's fair. You can't say that shit, right? You can't say we will support the business where we can when there are people without pay and without work. It's not fair.
I think
you look dumb. You look dumb. It's not a good look, right?
Yeah.
And so, and the other thing that bugs me about this whole situation, has really bugged me over the last week, right, is here we are. We're just two dickheads on a Wednesday night, or maybe one dickhead. I don't know.
Which one's a dickhead?
You got to guess. Anyway,
I'm not even saying anything. I'm just listening to you, mate.
So we're just two blokes on a Wednesday night who like to sit down over Zoom and have a beer and have a chat and that sort of thing, right? And the thing is that, right, we're the only ones talking about the fact that there are workers who have been stood down without pay and without work. Right? Now, in all of this, you've got to ask the question, where the fuck is Brews News? Where's Brews News in all of this? Right? Because in both of the stories related to either Mighty Craft or Ballistic and the administration, not one mention about workers being stood down. Not one. Neither of those articles, there is no mention. Right? Funnily enough, there's a fucking Ballistic ad on the page that I'm looking at right now that says Ballistic's gone into administration. And there's another Ballistic ad on the page that says Mighty Craft's doing all right financially. Right? Conflict of interest much? I don't know.
I want to talk about the Brews News thing as well, because I have always thought it was very weird that Mighty Craft gets such favorable, loving praise through Brews News. It's very strange. Like when they came out as founders first, they were kind of talked about as this revolutionary model, that was going to change the game. And there was like an incubator and all this kind of thing. And founders signed up for this because, they heard it was a fucking good idea, basically. And obviously that, I'm sure most of the people who signed up for this are regretting it. If you look at what Source are doing, what Ballistic are doing, I'm sure they're regretting it. But they heard it, and they heard it was revolutionary, and they heard it was great, and they've seen an interview every year on Brews News for the last 5 years with the Mark Haseman from Mighty Craft, or Founders First. Which it's just weird. It seems weird to me. It wasn't a revolutionary model ever. It was just
it's just like private equity
investing in breweries.
Yeah,
and
it's nothing new.
Why do they do an interview every year, like basically promoting this business? It's fucking weird.
It makes no sense, right? But the thing is that it just bugs me that the people who are most affected by this, which are the workers which have been stood down without pay and now have to rock up to a fucking creditors meeting, right? Don't even get a mention. Don't even get a mention. They got a mention on the podcast on the day that the VA was announced, right?
On the what podcast?
And on Brews News podcast.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
When they announced the VA last week, and Matt goes as far as saying, "Oh, we feel for the staff," and it was just that was it.
Yeah.
That was all that was heard about the workers. But why aren't we hearing from a reliable news source, right? How many workers were affected? What's their opinion on the situation? Even just to tell us how many people are affected, right? Has that question not even been asked of Ballistic or Mighty Craft?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just that. At the very least, how many people were affected? And so the way that this comes across, the way that those two articles, right, have come across is it's fucking sugarcoating the whole situation around voluntary administration. And the same thing happened with the Easy Times VA.
100%. It seems
the same thing happened with the Easy Times VA. So I was in a pub, right, last weekend, right? And I overheard these two guys that just happened to be talking about the Ballistic voluntary administration. And they're going, "Oh, it's okay. 5 weeks, they'll right the ship. It'll be fine," and that sort of thing. And I had to pull them up. I said, "Guys, what the fuck are you the only way you get into voluntary administration or liquidation or something like that is if you're under severe financial distress."
Yeah.
Right? And when you're in severe financial distress, people get fucked for money.
Well, that's the thing. And the language seems to be, we're writing the balance sheet, which is obviously
which basically means people get the rough end of the pineapple for money. Right.
It shouldn't be something you're cruisy about. It should be something you're fucking stressed about.
It's not cruisy at all.
You're not paying the rest of the industry.
I had to bring to the attention of these guys. I said, there's at least 5-6 people that I know of right now that have been stood down without pay and have to go cap in hand to a fucking creditors meeting in a couple of weeks' time, right? How would you like it if you suddenly woke up one morning and you had a job but you weren't being paid and you got stood down?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh," and I said, because the reason why they formed that opinion is because it's been fucking sugar-coated on Brews News.
That's right.
And it needs to stop. It needs to stop, right? Because it's fucking serious. When you go into liquidation, people lose lots of money. When you go into voluntary administration, people lose lots of money. There were people that lost lots of money with the Easy Times thing. It wasn't just a quick fucking
100%.
tick and flick 5 weeks. Five weeks, we paid all the creditors and that sort of thing. That's bullshit.
A lot of the smaller ones too, because I got a lot of messages from people that are just, in the industry, people you wouldn't even think of if they're not going to turn up in a Brews News article.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're people who were supplying these businesses. They're just all of a sudden not going to get paid. If you all of a sudden don't get paid for what you've done, you're in the same position you're in with your 50 heck batch of beer down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. Your business goes under.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so look, if you start a business, as you and I have, right, you assume some risk, right? And you take on that risk and you own it yourself and that sort of thing. But when you're a fucking employee, you don't, right? Employee is supposed to be a stable fucking job, right? Working for a good business that you take care of them and they take care of you, right? That's how the employee-employer relationship should be, right? If you get a salary job, you don't take on any very minimal financial risk. Yeah, here we are with workers that have no pay and no work and maybe a job in 5 weeks' time, but still got mortgage payments due and children to feed and all that sort of stuff. And we don't hear about it. And the only way that you hear about it is from two dickheads.
Right. Yeah. And if they do have a job in 5 weeks' time, it's because other people in the industry have put up the money for that, really, because it means they're not getting paid $1 on every dollar for what they're owed.
And I'll tell you what I want to see. I want to see a real story. I want to see some real journalism from Brews News about the people who have been affected, whether it's businesses or employees and all that sort of stuff. Right?
What about Crafty Pint's good at that sort of shit? Sort of
he's good at that shit. But man, that needs to be said on Brews News because those two guys at the pub are reading Brews News.
Why
because
it's just a website about beer.
But it's about the brewing industry.
Right. There's lots of content about the brewing industry though. Like, why are you picking them specifically?
Because it's the biggest.
Right.
And it's the most influential. And it fails to tell the story. It's almost like there's some gatekeeping going on. Right.
Yeah, the relationship with Mighty Craft seems strange. They seem to kind of pick favorites and pick people they like and pick people they hate.
Yeah, exactly. And so the thing is, right, is that I'm pretty sure that Mac Herkgaard's going to hear this and he's going to pick up the phone tomorrow morning and he's going to fucking yell in my ear as he's done it, done it other times.
Well, good. Right? I'm glad he's going to blast you and not me because I haven't been.
He'll blast me. Right. But the thing is, right, is Matt, if you're listening, don't fucking call me. Call the employees that you've already been speaking to. Get their story and fucking write about it and tell the story. If you think that the beer industry is supposed to be full of good people, be a good person, tell their story. It needs to be told.
All right.
And that's all I have to say about that.
That's good stuff, Hendo. I'm on board with everything you said. The only thing I'm not 100% on board with is the idea of Mighty Craft as a 10% shareholder solving this whole problem because they own 10%. I don't know if that's realistic.
And I would agree with you if their prize brand in their portfolio wasn't run by two guys called the Inspired Unemployed.
It's a very unfortunate, it's
a very unfortunate circumstance of events.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of it.
Right.
And that's a bad look.
Yeah.
And therefore, because normally I'd go, yeah, fuck it, 10%, who cares? But I'm sorry.
I'm not saying 10% who cares. I'm just saying that they, they don't own this business, that they have a small equity stake.
No, but they have the financial resources, right? And the ability to be able to look after these workers. And up until we've recorded this tonight, we have not heard anything that said that they're prepared to look after the workers.
Right.
That's my point, right? Yeah. And it could be something as simple as an undertaking, a loan, a short-term loan, till the business recapitalize. Just pay the fucking wage on a Thursday, whenever payday is. That's all. That's all you got to do. Just help those people make their mortgage payments, right? Now, if you are one of those ballistic workers who has been affected by this, you're now in the position where you have to go cap in hand to the creditors meeting. Isn't that right?
Well, I don't know if current employees do, but I think if you were, I mean, I've had a couple of conversations with a few people around the company, but I think I know if you had left around the time of all this happening,
Then
you
wouldn't get
basically
shit.
owed money at that point, and you become.
But those people who were stood down last Wednesday were told they're being stood down, and then they're still employees.
Exactly. So that they may not be creditors. I don't know. This is not legal advice. We're going to get ourselves in trouble here.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are definitely people who at one point were employees while this was happening who are going to have to turn up to that creditors meeting.
Yeah, exactly. So I sincerely hope that they sort everything out here, right? But it is not going to be an easy journey. And I get it. Fucking Brews News is being very factual and all that sort of stuff, but it's the story that just simple a one-liner. How many employees were affected? It's just not being said. They're not even getting a mention, and it's sugarcoating it, and it's a bad situation.
To make it a little bit more positive, if I can,
I'll make it a bit positive. Got a plan here.
Okay. You're not even drinking beer produced by local craft beer workers, Hendo. Fucking hell, what are you doing?
Drowning my
mate?
sorrow. Shut up.
Speaking about craft beer workers, I've got a staff beer here. Backyard Party Ale.
Brian Dack. He's one of my star students.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Super stoked. How is that? I hear it's really tasty.
Good. Yeah, really good. I had a pool party the day this beer came out. It was fucking perfect.
Yeah. Backyard Party Ale. What a bloody legend. I like Brian.
That's cool. I was going to say a slightly positive note on the ballistic stuff is I saw your video on the Facebook group. I had a few calls from people, specifically ringing on behalf of these people who didn't, any longer have jobs, kind of saying, do you have any jobs? If you do, we've got some good people. We're not recruiting anyone at the moment, so it might not lead to anything, but at least that's happening. I don't know if that stuff even happens in other industries.
Yeah. Oh, it is happening, and it's been really good. Like the response that I've got has been amazing. It's tough for the brewing industry all round at the moment.
Yeah.
And not everyone is recruiting, and I get that, and certainly not after charity. Hopefully this will only last 5 weeks and all those affected people can go back to their jobs, but they just need a job right now, And so, I've made a few phone calls and sent a few messages and all that sort of stuff. I've done fuck all, to be fair, fuck all. Just trying to help where I can. And anyway, if you're one of those workers that is affected by this and you are going through some financial hardship at the moment, and I know that it's hard to do that, but please reach out. I will help you financially wherever I can. If you've got to eat, you should eat. If you've got to pay rent or pay your mortgage, you should be able to do that. Don't suffer in silence.
Right.
We'll sort something out. Just please don't suffer in silence. Just reach out. We can help.
Oh, that's nice. And with connections and things, I think as well, there's everyone knows everyone in this industry.
Yeah. There are good people in this industry.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
There's some shitty people as well, but that's like anything in life. But that there are good people. So if you need help, reach out.
All right. Number 4, excise rises again.
Oh my God.
I mean, this just happens every 2
February.
weeks.
It's February. Is it February or is it August? I forget.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting. So have a look at the excise history over the last couple of years. We had COVID 2020, where we actually had negative inflation, right? And so for those who don't know how excise works, it's indexed with the CPI or some part of the CPI twice a year on the 1st of February and the 1st of August. That's why twice a year you always see the thing on the mainstream media, beer prices are going up 12 cents a schooner and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's just, it makes good news because people get outraged at the increase in price of beer.
Yeah.
and it's an easy news story. And and so basically during COVID, when we had negative inflation, so excise gets indexed, but if the way that the legislation is written, if we have negative inflation, so the CPI becomes negative as it did during third quarter of 2020, the excise doesn't actually go down.
Right.
Actually get a credit for the difference, right? And then you get that credit when the CPI goes positive again.
Okay.
So the game's always rigged in the house's favour.
Well, yeah, but there was a lot given to companies during that time.
Indeed, but that's just the way that it goes and that sort of thing. And so, but now we find ourselves in a situation where yes, a lot was given to companies and individuals during that time, and the no one could travel. Everyone got some sort of government support, and we find ourselves in a situation where the economy is just flush with cash, right? Just making it fucking rain with their everyone's got their clothes off and then making it rain like that, right? And it's absolutely phenomenal, right, about what's happening at the moment. So obviously, with everyone being flush and spending money, inflation goes up, CPI goes up, and therefore excise goes up. And so excise over year on year in the last 12 months, from February 1 last year, August 1, and now February 1 again, it's about nearly 8%.
Yeah, which is just inflation, which is just the CPI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that look like in real terms?
Crazy. It's a lot of money.
On a keg. So what's the LAL on fucking beer now? Let me look it up. Just look that up, Jamie.
Bring it up, Jamie.
Bring it up, Jamie. Beer excise. Let's have a look at the rates. Excise duty rates for alcohol, Australian Tax Office. Alcohol rates for beer. Okay, 1.10, 1.10 is kegs, and 1.11 is kegs and 1.10 is package. So $57.79 so the way our excise works in Australia is you pay on what's called an LAL, which is basically a litre of ethanol. But so if you have a beer that's 5% ABV and you've got 100 litres, well, 5 litres of ethanol, but you don't pay excise in the first 1.15%. So the first 1.15 litres, that's because of GST. You don't pay, do pay the difference, and $57.79, $40.72. Wow.
So say that again. I'm looking at our costings for. Wow. So can you say that those numbers again? The before and after excise on a keg. Was that a keg?
So kegs in August last year, it was for kegs for above 3.5%. Was $39.27 in August, and now it's gone up to $40.72.
For what ABV?
That's anything above. That's per LAL, mate, per litre of ethanol.
Right. So what's the total for a 50-litre keg of, say, it's like $70 or something, right?
No, let's have a look here. Okay, so you're gonna make me do the maths. Okay, so if we've got so how you do it is you go brackets. Let's say you got a 5% beer. All right, let's do a 5% beer, 5.0%. Sound good?
Yeah.
So 5.05. Oops. 0.05 minus 0.0115. That's your 1.15% you get for free, which means that 3.85% ABV is taxable.
Right.
And so times that by 50 litres is 1.925 litres of ethanol.
Yeah, so it's about $70.
Hang on a second. I'm just going to memory that number. 1.925 times 39.27 is $75.59 at the old rate.
So times that by 1.078, and it's going to be almost
times
$80, 80 something.
40.72, $78.39.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's a bit.
Rounded up $10.
Now you might think,
Yeah.
right, that that's not going to make too much of a difference of a pot or a pint, a schooner of beer, whatever, Schmitty, whatever you fucking drink at the pub. But the thing is,
We drink
that
schooners around here, Hendo.
But the thing is, right, is that average pub puts 300 or 400% markup on what they buy the keg for, right? That's just standard, somewhere in that range. That's just what on premise charges, and so that like couple of bucks a keg, 175 pots in a 50-litre keg, adds up quite a bit. It's going to be 20 cents, and if the sell price calculates out at being, say $7.06
$51 or something.
Yeah, $7.06. It's going to get rounded up to $8.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at a pub it's never $7.50, right? It's always $8, right? And that's just how it works. So these little ripples, it's like the butterfly causing the tsunami.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot at the moment.
And you know what? You got to ask yourself, how in the last 3 months, how many times have you been in the pub? Not your pub.
We don't really have pubs on the Gold Coast, but
to go to Byne or whatever your local is,
Not a lot anymore. I go to dinner. No.
Yeah, dinner's all right, but I haven't been to the Regatta in a while, mate. Because it's $16 for a pint of fucking pack ale.
Yeah.
Can't afford that. Can't afford that, So, yeah.
I think we're going to become the podcast that whinges about everything like every other podcast.
I'd prefer not to whinge.
Supposed to be fun.
No, I'd prefer not to whinge. Like, the thing is, right, is that even with all this shit, I'm still feel positive about, the industry, where it's going. It's the good people in it and all that sort of thing. And even bloody Brews News, I have positive feelings for and that sort of thing, right? And but I think at the moment it's just a tough time. But we're good people. We can get through this. Just don't be a bastard.
Yeah, I think we're all going to end up working for Better Beer, Mighty Craft. How big do you think this brand could get? Like, it actually could become the biggest beer in the country at this point.
You reckon it'll beat Great Northern?
It could, couldn't it? Why couldn't it?
I don't know. I think that they would sell it first.
But if they sold it, they would be basically, how would that even work? Like, whatever's left of Mighty Craft will be worth basically nothing. And they've only got a small stake in it. So it would be kind of suicide for because they're getting all of the sales business out of the Better Beer product. So they're getting a pretty good deal out of the whole thing. So if they sold it, their company would be kind of over as they know it.
Yeah. Oh, look, I hope Better Beer does well. Good people, I
think it could definitely be, because like everyone who drinks Great Northern
would easily switch over to Better Beer.
They would definitely, wouldn't they? Like, is there any reason why they wouldn't drink Better Beer? They fucking would. Yeah. Except they just drink the same thing forever and don't change. But Great Northern was a new brand at one point, wasn't it? Everyone just started drinking it.
It's the beer from up here, man.
This thing could just crush everything. It's crazy.
Well, they're going into UK now, I think. Apparently New Zealand's going well.
It's amazing. I take on board everything you said. I'm not degrading that, but it is amazing what they've achieved with that fucking beer.
Yeah. I don't want. Look, the thing is that I want to next week. I just want to get really fucking drunk and just talk stupid shit and go on a fucking field trip and that sort of thing. Because that's what I like. That's what I like about just hanging out with you on a Wednesday night and that sort of thing. But sometimes it's a little bit painful and it stings a little. But here we are. Next week we'll go back to something really good and just drink some good beer and and I'll post some photos of my scooter progress. And I'm going to send that bloody motorbike shop a YouTube video on how bloody two-stroke motor works, because that guy had no fucking idea.
Yeah, that guy needs a little bit of advice.
Oh my God.
What
Two-stroke
about
advice?
let's get on to NZ hops distribution. What the fuck is going on? It sounds like we're going to whinge about something else here.
Okay, so all right, I'm a bit confused, right? So there was a let me see if I can pull it up here. So Yakima Chief Hops, right, made an announcement. Here we go. Oh, can I send you the link so you can have a look?
Send it to me.
You want me to put it into the thing? I'll put it into the thing.
Into the chat.
There you go. No, it's in the doc.
Oh, okay.
Yakima Chief Hops and New Zealand Hops enter global partnership. All right. So basically it says Yakima Chief Hops and New Zealand Hops, the people who do Nelson Sauvin and what are the other ones? Pacific Gem and Pacific Jade and anyway, all the fucking good ones, Rewalker, all those sorts of things that are really not. Nelson Sauvin's my favorite hop. Got to be fair about that. Entered into a global partnership. So it basically says NZ hops will now be available through Yakima Chief Hops for any brewery around the world where we currently operate. Take a note of that one. These will also be available through our distributor partners where we work with in the market. Right? You will now have access to the sought-after New Zealand hop varieties through your YCH accounts, simple add these varieties, blah, 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 right? Now, Yakima Chief, Yakima Chief hops are currently distributed in Australia through Cryomalt.
Right.
And Bintani brought Hopco, Sandy's business, and which had the distribution thing for New Zealand hops, and subsequently bought distribution rights for New Zealand hops. So which is it? Where am I buying my Kiwi hops?
Right.
Am I buying them from Cryomalt through Yakima Chief, a so-called distribution partner, or am I getting them through Bintani? Right, because right now I'm feeling pretty confused as to what's going on there. Now, don't forget, if you have a look at the history around all of this as well, it's actually Yakima Chief that caused the change of Yakima Chief hops going, which used to be at Bintani, going to Cryomalt, and Wyman, which used to be at Bintani, Cryomalt going to Bintani, because of the part of that was due to the buyout of 49% or whatever it was of Bintani by BSG, Brewer Supply Group, which is a big version of Bintani in Australia, bought nearly 50% of Bintani. And there's Yakima Chief and BSG, I think there's some past legal something or other or something like that. And so all these distributions of malt and hops changed about 5 years ago, right? But now we find ourselves in a situation where a company that just does not work with Bintani has said that actually sells New Zealand and says we sell in New Zealand hops and we're the only place you can get them globally in our global partnership, but Bintani still have the distribution agreement. So I'm confused. I did get a email the other day. What did it say? Let me see if I can find it.
If it was the Boss and the Brewer email account, it would be very easy to find because it'd be the only email.
Yeah, of course.
While you're looking for it, if anyone's listening to this, send us an email, bossandthebrewer@gmail.com.
Yes, of course.
Once
We'd
a
love
week
to hear.
before the show, and there's never any emails in there.
Oh, here we go. Got an email 2 days ago on the 30th of January. Subject was New Zealand hops distribution clarification. Hey, Steve, hope you're having a good day. We want to take a quick note to reconfirm there have been no changes to the distribution of NZ hops in Australia since Bintani and NZ hops commenced their partnership in 2021. Bintani continues to be the exclusive distributor of NZ hops in Australia, carrying a range of over 20 different varieties, including new and experimental releases in its warehouses across Australia. Together, we plan on bringing exciting things to Australian brewers in 2023 and look forward to tasting New Zealand hops in many more wonderful beers. And hear to that, by the way, because New Zealand hops are awesome.
Clear?
Yeah. So who's misinformed here? Yakima Chief or Bintani. I'm pretty sure it's Yakima Chief.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see where people start buying these hops from.
No, and I'm not saying this as disrespect to fucking anyone involved. Crime or Yakima Chief, Bintani, New Zealand hops around that, but yeah, wow, it gets. We've already had a really confusing situation with malt and hops supply into the industry over the last few years, which has been, despite the upheaval, those two companies did work together very well to make the transition smooth and that sort of thing. But, oh, geez, bit raw, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you guys sort it out. I think still Bintani is. I believe Bintani.
Right. Okay. Let's follow.
They should have said except Australia, maybe.
Right. Well, some positive news to end off our new segment. You know, I think it was only a week or two ago when we talked about the Bogues Brewery tour in Launceston being shut down.
And it's shut down.
Shut down, which I thought was shit because I went on it only a couple of months ago.
And you liked it.
Yeah, it was great. It was very weird and awesome.
You would fit right in?
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect. Yeah. And now, thanks to the Tassie government, they brought it back. Easy peasy. A couple of weeks later, we're back, baby.
Great.
So
just give a big company a hand out to put a tourist attraction back in.
Yeah, and they're doing upgrades and shit. They've given them like $1 million or something. So there you go.
Fucking wow.
Worth going to if you're in Launceston. All right. Let's see if we've got any questions. I don't think we have too many this week. I couldn't think of anything fun. I need to think of some more ideas for people to ask questions. So I just put a photo up at National Tiles, and I don't think people got it.
Hello.
Did you see the floor thing?
What floor thing?
My photo I put in the group. You go in there, they have the COVID stickers on the floor.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Hello on it.
Hello.
Right.
Please stay 1.5 meters apart.
Yeah, so good. Right. Leah Hill, tell us you said hello. Yeah, I did do that. I did do that. But they haven't heard that before. Darren Gittins, what's your prediction for beer 144? 12 times 12. Will you commit to having whatever it is live on the show next show? Oh, I don't think they announced.
Sorry?
It. So he's saying what's your prediction for 144 on the Hottest 100?
Oh, when they do the 100 to 200. Well, that hasn't been announced
I don't
yet.
think they do it anymore. I think they stopped doing that.
They do.
They do?
Yeah, they did it last year.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they do like, I think Crafty or something, or Gabs released like a subsequent Hottest 100 list. So they have the Hottest 100 new beers, and then they have the Hottest 100 up to 200.
Yeah, I thought maybe they just stopped
that'll come. It'll be a couple of days though.
All right, well then there's the question for you. So will you commit to having
beer 144?
144 live on the show?
I think that's a bloody sterling idea.
12 times 12. I love that too. I'll commit to that. All right. Kalani Fuller, question one. Oh, question one. Oh, multiple questions. I like this.
How did she type? Oh,
different threads. Question one, column. How many years? By the way, did you see Adam Shell's horrific fucking facial injuries?
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I wish I had the audio from the podcast where we talked about this, and I specifically said, and you would have heard it because you listened to the show. Don't ride these fucking scooters.
Scooters, they're fucked. Yeah,
they're so dangerous.
So Adam Shell, not that one, the other one, had a pretty serious accident on a electric scooter where he's face planted or hit a pole or something like that, and he posted photos of his face, and it ain't pretty. I mean, it wasn't pretty to start with, but it's even less pretty now.
That joke was there for the taking. I don't know him well enough.
I'll take it. Adsy, you'll understand.
Oh, God. I messaged him today. It's fucking pretty serious. He's like, oh, I don't know if I have to have like reconstructive surgery and shit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He got chipped a tooth, and they found the tooth embedded in his lip.
Well, that's good they found it.
Yeah, I suppose that's good. But yeah, he really seriously hurt himself. So, our thoughts are with Adsy. Get well soon, mate. And ride the correct type of scooter in the future. Can I just suggest?
Listen see, the problem is every time we give advice, we say this is not advice, but this is scooter advice.
This is scooter
ride a
advice.
fucking one of those stupid
Don't ride
scooters
those
without a
electric
helmet.
fucking dumb piece of shit things. Ride a fucking petrol scooter, 2-stroke preferably.
See, I don't know about that advice either. Ride an electric bike. That was my advice. Ride an electric bike. Fuck the scooters. They're dodgy.
You know what it is though? The wheels are too small on those things for the
They're
speed
just
that they go.
So dodgy. Yeah, that hit curbs and shit. The amount of people I've seen stack on those things.
There needs to be there needs to be an Australian standard around the diameter of the wheel and whether they need rubber tires. If they had rubber tires, inflatable tires, they'd be less inclined. But if they're solid tires, they're going to catch on things.
But remember when we were kids, it was always like you had to wear helmets on your bike.
Yeah,
just a push bike. Now these motherfuckers are going down Hedges Avenue at like 60 kilometers an hour on these scooters faster than cars with no helmets. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder how fast Adzi was going.
Question 1, Kalani Fuller. How many years in a row will Mountain Culture Status Quo win Gab's Hottest 100?
12.
By the way, we didn't actually clear up. So do I win that over-under? No. I don't win that?
You get nothing.
I get nothing.
I get nothing.
But I said Bolter XPA are either going to win it or come second.
Don't make shit up.
That's what I said.
We had first and second choice on what would come number 1.
Yeah.
And Bolter XPA did not come number 1.
Well, see, what I said was I thought Bolter XPA were going to win, and then I changed my mind and said, actually, another beer is probably going to beat it, which would push it down to number 2.
Nice try.
Fuck. All right. God damn
we both lost that one, mate. Fair and square.
All right.
Fair and square. And we both therefore owe DJ McCready a beer in that regard. Because he's one up.
All right.
Probably 2 beers because we guessed 2 beers each.
I was happy with my performance. Second and
mate, you did good, just not good enough.
I was on the money with the XPA. Anyway.
Absolutely. Did well. Yep.
We should get the W. All right. Question 2 for Kalani Fuller. Any plans to do another catch up with the 12? Well, the last time, obviously, you didn't turn up, and that was a bit of a sticking point, wasn't it?
Sorry about that. Sorry. Yes, we should. We are overdue.
There was actually a reply to this from Sean from Future Magic, who just opened up. Shout out to Future Magic and Sean on Manila Street, who he's willing to host us.
Okay.
Put on pizza because there's only 12 of us. It's only be like 3 pizzas.
I haven't been there yet, and I'm really keen to go.
I haven't either since they've opened.
Oh, well, there you go. Let's go.
Let's do it. Are you going to turn up this time? Because you have to.
I'll turn up on time. Yeah. Okay. I fucked up. I said I fucked up. Okay. I won't fuck up this time.
Okay. I'm in Brisbane in a couple of weeks, actually, but it's like for a trip. It's not the kind of thing I can just leave and just go to the pub and drink lots of piss.
Are you coming up for the beer awards or anything?
When do they march?
Start end of February. Yeah, end of February. Start at first of March. I think the judging is, and then the Wednesday is the awards thing, and no doubt there'll be a few beers. Probably one up at Netherworld and doing shoeies.
Oh wow! Okay. A better beer?
No.
Another Mighty Craft brand?
No. Just doing shoeies.
Sorry, I just sort of stick the boot in there.
I don't remember how I got home, so thanks.
Yes, I will come to the Queensland Beer Awards. All right. One more on it. Here we go. Callum Sprott. Question, unrelated to Hottest 100. Do you guys have any details of the Newnham Hotel Beer and Cider Festival in March? States 100 beers on tap, but wondering what is truly going on to be like. Has it been run before? I don't know anything about this. Do you know this?
The Newnham Hotel. Which Newnham Hotel?
That's in Upper Mount Gravatt. That's in Brisbane.
Yeah, that's where I used to go when I was at uni.
I literally have never even heard of this pub, and I lived in Brisbane for 30 years.
Yeah, I used to live at the Mount Gravatt campus at Griffith University, and we used to go to the Newnham. And get really, really, really fucked up there.
Brilliant. I also went to
really
Griffith for a
badly,
while, but I never went there.
really badly messed up. eh?
Yeah, no, you made that quite clear.
Um, like,
Oh, I got it. I got it.
like I'm not joking.
Wow.
Like
You're still
wrecked.
going. Yeah. 7 rooms. What is this? Is this a booking website? 100 beers and ciders, food trucks, pop-up bars.
That's what it used to be when we go out on a Thursday night. It was either we're going to the Grabbit, which was the Mount Gravatt Hotel, the Newnham, which would usually have a good band, or Mary Street.
Mary Street was good. That was the
Yeah.
one.
I love that place.
So good.
Do you remember the fight light? Whenever the fight broke out, there'd be like a flashing light at the DJ booth and the fucking bouncers would all launch in and it's just so cooked.
Amazing. I have not heard of
drinks,
this.
though. 20
there's
cent
like
drinks.
literally no information on this.
How can you go wrong with 20-cent drinks?
20 cent? How old are you? 20 cent drinks? No, it was dollar drinks, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, probably dollar drinks. It was 20-cent drinks at HM's.
Jesus Christ. Well, excise has gone up too much for that to work these days.
Oh, yeah, that's like literally the price, the excise.
That's all the excise.
You're
just drinking excise.
the price of a drink.
What is... okay, oh, here we go. We got the Hop On Brewery Tours website. I've got something about the Beer and Cider Festival.
Oh, okay.
5th of March, Brisbane Beer and Cider Festival. Chili dog eating contest. All right, I know nothing about this. Haven't heard of it. Not much information. Sounds...
Do it.
100 beers? I don't know. No, don't know anything about it. Oh, I also had to confirm my cool color choice for my wall next to my pool.
Okay, and what color have you gone?
On the fence. I'm going to go Lexicon.
I think that's a good choice.
Stevie, the painter, talked me into it.
In consideration that the rest of the outside of your house is Lexicon, I think that's fair.
Well, it wasn't so much that, because out the back, because downstairs in my house is brick, right? And at the back, there's only one pillar that's Lexicon. But it was the whole reason why I painted the house that color in the first place. It was just the fact that if it's too bright, you're going to be staring at it. You're going to have to wear sunglasses inside when you're cooking dinner, because there's going to be this bright rendered wall staring back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a lot of sun. Consistency with the outside as well. So I feel like I'm selling the group out by doing that, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll post videos next week of it getting painted.
Yeah.
And I did say I'd paint it black if Black Ops won the Hottest 100, so that's obviously not happening.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Andrew Green, question: after winning the Gabs Hottest 100, will Mountain Culture sell out to the multinationals, Feral, Bolter, Stoner Wood style?
Nah,
they're not buying, I don't think.
Nah, I don't think they're selling. And they're not buying. Yeah.
I also don't think people care as much. It used to be a massive thing. Like it used to be a thing where, like, if you made the top 20 of the Hottest 100, you'd get guaranteed ranging in Dan Murphy's. It would be like a really big deal.
Oh, you still do. You still do.
I don't think so. I don't think it's quite what it was.
I bet you'll see Mountain Culture in a lot of fucking Dan Murphy's this year.
Oh, if you win the thing, for sure. If you win the thing, yeah. I mean, I imagine they're already in Dan Murphy's, but
now more Dan Murphy's.
They're not? Have you had the beer? I've never had the beer.
No, I've not. No. Oh, maybe I had a pot of it at Gabs.
We should get some sponsorship. I'll buy it. I'll go buy some.
I'll buy it.
Sorry about the beer situation too. We fucking lost your beers.
Oh, man. I went and saw Riley today, and he was just so disappointed, and I was so disappointed, and we just looked disappointed at each other. So, Bo, sorry, but your beers were so tasty that they disappeared.
We're still trying to figure out what happened.
We're still trying to figure out what happened. Riley does say that he saw them. They made it to the cold room at Black Ops Brisbane.
Right. Yeah. I saw him at BH2, and I knew he
They made it to BH3 apparently.
Okay.
And so the business card, Bo's business card, was in the box there, but 4-pack went missing. So Riley's looking for the culprit.
This is not human resources advice.
It's not human resources advice.
Jesus Christ. This podcast is going to get us banned from every platform.
Oh, man.
I've got,
so
before
fucked.
I ask the last question, because we're over time here, but I did get one more beer, so I'm going to give him a shout out. This one was given to me in a pool the other day because I was talking to a guy and he told me he works for Casellas and he does all of their demand planning for their mainly wine stuff, but he works remotely. Apparently they've got an office here at Yatla and he gave me these beers.
Oh, Yenda's back.
I don't know. I mean, did they go anywhere? I don't think they went anywhere. I think he said they sell them locally and that's about it.
Mm.
But there you go.
Great.
Free beer from someone who works in Queensland.
Any good?
I'm about to find out.
Oh.
He said it tastes similar. It smells very oxidized. I don't think he listens to the podcast, so it'll be okay.
Okay.
3, 5, 20. Yeah, I mean, how? And sometimes you get beers from sales reps and they've just been sitting in cars for months and months and they're so old.
Yeah. Yep.
He said it tastes like Bolter XPA. Same color, similar. I swapped him for 3 of our beers, so it was a good.
Fair deal.
That's a reason. I think he took 2 and I got 3. I think it's a fair deal.
Okay. Oh dear.
So cheers, mate. Cheers for the sponsored, not really a sponsored beer. Okay, actually, that was it. That was it. That was the last question.
Awesome. Well,
you want editing rights on this podcast?
Yes, please. I don't know. I just had to get some stuff off my chest. Like I said a lot of things tonight and that sort of thing. And as I said, like, you know, I have an opinion on this because I've been through the situation. I can speak to it firsthand and that sort of thing. You know, and to everybody involved, you know, who I have mentioned today, I wish nothing but good things for you, but fuck, we just got to fix some shit up and get back to doing what we do well, you know?
Yeah. All right, mate. Well said.
I'll see you next week.
See you next week.